all right, we're in wartime and we need more people for our armed services, and so we're going to draft all you young males into service, and it is absolutely mandatory.
You can't do that. That's a violation of the 13th Amendment, which protects me from slavery and involuntary servitude. That's wrong. You should change that. That's wrong.
Actually, that is a violation of the Espionage Act of 1917. You cannot dodge or evade the draft.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin. Today's court case is on Schenck versus United States on the topic of unconstitutional arrest for violating the Espionage Act. Schenck has been arrested for speaking against the draft during wartime, claiming that it is a violation of the 13th Amendment. Mr. Schenck, please step forth and make your claim.
Under the First Amendment, I have the right to freedom of speech, and I can say whatever I want. You guys can't arrest me for saying that.
What kind of claim is that? Let us take this into discussion.
As the representatives of the Supreme Court take this into their own hands, it will be a major change to freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is a vague phrase with very little limits. The Supreme Court could have easily decided on what the ruling is, but they had decided to take the chance to do more and assign a new limit to freedom of speech.
We have discussed the topic and have unanimously voted that it is constitutional. Wartime circumstances change the limitations related to free speech. We admit that in many places and in ordinary times, the defendants in saying all that was said in the circular would have been with their constitutional rights. But the character of every act depends upon the circumstances in which it is done. We would also like to create the clear and present danger rule for free speech. This would allow us to guide free speech conversation so that in the circumstances in which they are used can be deemed illegal. For example, yelling bomb on an airplane or yelling fire in a crowded movie theater. These examples surely must show the reasoning as to why you shouldn't be allowed to just say anything as you please.
Unfortunately, Schenck, he was taken away. However, this case was very beneficial. It set a small but large limit on freedom of speech.
The case of Schenck versus United States was important because it set the precedent of clear and present danger, so that Schenck could not, he was in violation of the Constitution, he was in violation of the Espionage Act of 1917, and therefore he could not dodge the draft, and he could not say anything that was a quote-unquote clear and present danger to the government or to the people or against the war effort. So the case of Schenck versus United States has a significant impact on today because you can't, for example, walk into a movie theater and yell fire because that presents a clear and obvious danger. Same thing with bomb on a plane. That presents a danger that nobody wants to deal with. So in doing that, they set the standard of there are certain things that you can and can't do depending on the situation. And this occurred again later in the 40s during the Japanese internment camps when there was another Supreme Court case that challenged the idea of clear and present danger, but yet again was followed because it was during wartime.